Hey everybody, KC here. So today, part 3 in our conversations about management and leadership conducted at the recent WAFC meeting in Denver. And again, great panel. Kevin Curry of Albertsons, Wendy Coldacina of Costco, Levi Wingo of Raley's, Nick Schott of Red Bull, Toby Saricki of Albertsons, Jake Sochi of PepsiCo, Adria Campbell of Malk Organics, and Paul Stoffel of Stater Brothers. And in this part of the conversation, basically, I wanted to talk a little bit about their kids, those of them who have children, and what they think about their kids getting involved in the industry, what they've learned about the industry that would make them want to get involved. Interesting conversation. I hope you enjoy. Adrian, I'm trying. You said when you got into you got into the business, you were not looking so much for a company, but you were looking, you sort of had a mission in mind. Talk about that a little bit.
So I graduated from college with a finance degree, and I was fighting the recruiting of becoming a financial services professional, schlepping financial products like insurance and mutual funds. I just didn't want to do that. It didn't sound exciting. And so I graduated from the University of Hawaii with my finance degree, which is where I'm from. And I wasn't looking necessarily for a specific role. I was looking to join an organization that meant something to me. And I grew up playing AYSO soccer, played soccer all my life throughout college. And I remembered Metal Gold Dairy was the proud sponsor of AYSO soccer. And it just had this connection to me that I loved. And there happened to be a role opening for an IT specialist, which had nothing to do with my degree. But it was an opportunity to get in with a company. They were really just looking for someone who was young, who could teach them how to run reports and be a pivot table expert. And I'm like, I can do that. And I did. And so the company and the industry got me into food, but then the company itself and the industry's ability to, continue to allow us to grow and learn about different departments. I did stints in IT, I did stints in finance, and then obviously eventually long-term, figured out that I really enjoy sales, and that's where I am, and I imagine that I'm going to continue to be for the rest of my career. But yeah, when I was looking for that role, it wasn't a role; it was a company and a community, and Metal Gold was exactly that. So that's how I got into it. Yeah.
Should point out, and I think Adria is incredibly smart. So you grew up in Hawaii?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. And where do you live? Where do you live now?
Minneapolis. Yeah, it's like some horrible reverse retirement situation.
I'm just teasing. So how many people here have kids? Okay. How do you feel about
you
your
said kiss.
Kids?
How many people up here kiss? The kids.
Okay, he's clearly decided he's going to throw me as many curves today as he can. So, of those of you who have children, I should have said children instead of kids, how many of you would like your kids are either thinking about going in the business, they're pushing carts at a store, or you'd like to see them go into the industry? I'm curious.
I have a 13 and 11-year-old. My daughter is very set on being a veterinarian, so I feel like I don't want to steer her off of that plan if that's where her heart's at. But will I be getting them jobs after school and during college and getting them a little grit out there and working hard and making their own money? Absolutely. Will I be talking to their warehouse manager often to make sure they're doing their jobs? Yes. But I would not steer either of them away from it if that sparked them after spending some time there. 100%.
But as a 16-year-old, you think it's a great place to still to this day?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah, for me, I'm similar. I'm not gonna force them to do anything.
I didn't even mean career-wise. I sort of meant at 16 to get out and have the same kind of formative experience that you had.
I get that. I think more importantly, they understand the opportunities that this career or this industry offers. You could work in retail, you could work in construction, you could work in customer service, marketing. You could do so many things, and they understand that from the experiences they've had. So similar to what you're saying, My daughter, a thing she knows from coming to these WAFC, she wants to be an equine therapist, right? Also with animals or horses. And if she were to build a business, an equine therapist business, she knows also get connected with a local retail grocery store that can give back to the community, right? She understands that from what we do here. So,
I'm still equine therapist.
equine therapist.
I'm just, first of all, I'm thinking about the size of the couch.
Yeah.
Never. We'll talk later.
We'll talk later.
We could go down that rabbit hole. Kevin.
So many of the people know my daughter because she's been coming to this convention with me since 2001. And she the thing she's probably picked up more is education. And she did come home. She was doing a stint between, as she transferred colleges, she said, "Dad, can you get me a job down at the store?" And so the store hired her. And she came home one night after a month. She goes, "You know, Dad, with everything I've learned already in the grocery store and your time in the business, we should just go buy our own grocery stores." And I thought my wife was going to, have this, but she's, like I said, I'm very proud of her. She got her degree. She's got her MBA now. She's been with Disney 7 years. And I think she's, as my wife described her at lunch today to somebody, she's a Disney lifer, we think.
Yeah.
But she'll go anywhere she wants to go because she just got that determination.
Nick.
I ruined one. So I've got 2 kids. I've got a 19-year-old son and a 17-year-old daughter, and I've ruined one. He probably will not touch the industry, unfortunately, unlike Adria. He loves finance, and he loves finance for a couple reasons. One, I have a much younger brother who's a piss-poor example of everything in life. He doesn't own a home, doesn't own a car, brings a new date to Thanksgiving and Christmas with him, and wears fancy watches. So he looks at me and says, "Why don't you have this figured out?" I go, "Because I got you, man. That's why I don't have it figured out. You came along." But he actually did a stint in the industry, worked pushing carts for about a whole 2 weeks, lasted about that long. But in those 2 weeks, we essentially made him go to a shop steward meeting, learned about unions, learned about paying union dues on his first paycheck, and things like that. So that was actually really, really good for him. But what he did draft off of is a lot of what I bring home. Not that I'm a good example by any stretch, I'm not, but I bring back the example of how we dealt with certain situations with people, with things that I normally wouldn't know that are part of being a manager or quote unquote leader. And he would say, how do I deal with these things in life? Well, this is how you deal with relationships. How are you going to deal with it when the young lady that you are interacting with and she has something go on and you just sit there and listen? Sometimes people don't want to hear your opinion. They just want to know that you will be listening to what they say. Magical 8, right, Kevin? Yeah, I thought it was 7. Completely had that wrong. My daughter, there's still hope. She is definitely outgoing. I would say she has a servant's heart through and through, and 100% takes after her mother, which is fantastic. We'll take it, but whether she stays in sales in this industry, I like to see it. I hope she drafts off that, but nonetheless, she'll draft off the learnings of how to integrate with people, how to have foresight, how to look ahead to how everything has a root cause and how you can apply that to things. And if anything, that's what my son takes away today. He loves to watch futures and commodities and things like that, so we have robust conversation, and I would leave some of it at that.
And with any luck, he'll take care of you when you're old.
Well, yes, if Shibu's any example, he still wrote a note that said, I came down one day in October of 21, and it said, "I just invested my last $350 in Shibu, and I highly suggest," highly was underlined, "you do the exact same thing." So I saved that and I put it back on Thanksgiving every time at his setting, and I say, "I'm thankful I didn't follow your advice because it's still worth less than a penny." So I remind him of these things. So he may take some, he may not, but there's still hope for my daughter.